This is Joe Pugh for IFLTV. We're here in Birmingham. Bloodline, Sonny Edwards versus Galal Yafai. Launch press conference at the BP Pulse, formerly known as Resorts World Arena.
Yes.
When I spoke to you last year, I think it was last August, Eddie, about your kind of return to boxing when it was Yafai versus Frank, you said this could be a real breeding ground. And now we've done a show earlier on in the year with Denny Cash, and now it looks like with this show, it's just going to grow bigger and bigger and bigger. We see with the presser today, it was loud.
And a couple of press conferences in Birmingham today. I think it's becoming a little bit of a hotbed for shows. I think what's happening in Birmingham is the fighters sell a lot of tickets, and you can hit sort of 4,000 sales and stuff like that. But how do you go to 6, 7, 8? And I think you need a big main event. Denny against Cash was a great fight, but it wasn't really the big main event that you needed. Last time we were in Birmingham when we did those numbers, we headlined with Amir Khan, and now we've got a massive domestic fight in Yafai against Edwards, and I think you're going to see a big crowd because, boxing is growing quickly here, and we like it, and looking forward to a huge show November 30th and a breathtaking main event.
Title Bloodline. We've seen a little bit of history here today with Charlie Edwards coming in. He seemed very frustrated that he was flown over, and then maybe Cal didn't want to go up on the top table. So before we actually talk about the fight, what did happen there?
So it was my idea, my plan to have the brothers up on the table just for the banter, really. And Gamal and Cal felt that it was kind of taking the shine away from Galal, and said, look, it's about our brother, it's not about us. Charlie was up for it, and it didn't materialise, but he had his question. I think he brought Cal a duck. Obviously those two were talking about fighting for a while, but now we've got Edwards Yafai, and we've got it for the interim WBC world title, and a very important moment for both's career, and I think it's a pure 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I asked that question about the gold medal to Sonny, and it kind of...
You really got it going, didn't you?
I don't know, but it seems clearly underlying things with Sonny, and it feels like a little bit of a build-up, and it's not a case of hating each other, it's a case of an old-school rivalry that's lasted 10 plus years.
Yeah, you have to, you for once asked a good question, and it was like, it was like, Sonny feels like he should have got the pick for GB, and he should have been the one going to the Olympics. But Galal also had a great comeback saying, whoa, I won Olympic gold, mate. Can't have been that bad a pick. But you know that sort of, that beef, if you like, runs deep, because the way that Sonny was talking so passionately about it still sits in his mind. And this is a little bit of his way to prove that he is the best, he is number one. And they're two very stubborn competitors, two very good competitors as well. And no one's going to give an inch in there. I think it'll be a brilliant fight.
Think we could ever see the Bam Edwards rematch?
I mean, look, it was a great event. It was a great fight. But, Bam now obviously has his mandatory to take care of. And then we want to see him unify against the winner of Ioka and Martinez. That's a great fight. They're rematching on December 31st. So I don't know. But I do know that the winner of this fight will go on and fight for the WBC world title. And, it's a huge fight for both.
It's a great show as well, the Bam fight.
Yeah, I mean... You got Vong against Gavin Gwynn, great fight. You got Lewis Ritson against Conor Walker, absolute war. There's another championship fight to be announced this week as well. You got Troy Jones against Stevenson for the English light heavyweight title. You got Ibrahim Spider, hopefully. You've got Hamza Uddin in a big step up with a bit of beef with Sonny Edwards as well. And you've got Aaron Bowen as well returning, plus more. So we've got quite a few new signings coming, and you may see one of those on this show as well.
With these new signings, is this the type of signings that are going to align with your new vision for 2025?
I think that, it's a mixture of the kind of GB Olympic and world cycle of those fighters that have been to the Olympics or been to qualifying and now want to turn professional. There's a number of bigger names there and established names as well. There's some really good prospects coming through. When I talk about the video, I couldn't believe, Joe, to be honest with you, the response that I had from my tweet about 9 and 10 p.m. I had 50,000 votes for that poll. But people are very passionate about the changes to the product, and I'm even thinking about doing some kind of, live space, is it called, or whatever it is, where I really have a great blessing where I can get instant feedback from the customer, and I read them all. because I really want to know what the customer's thinking. And let's be honest, when we say 9 or 10, how often is it actually 10? It's more like half 10, quarter to 11, isn't it? And it does go on. And Saturday was a good example of, main event was at 9. By 10 p.m, everything was wrapped up and everyone was like, oh, almost like, do you want to go for a pint, or should we get a bite to eat, or I can get home and have an early night, or the kids that are at home watching or in the arena get home at a reasonable time as well. So I think there's a lot to be said, and that's just one of the small changes we're looking at for 2025.
Right, a couple more quick ones to reel off. Anthony Joshua dropped down to number 7 in the ring rankings. I feel like that's a fair reflection of where he is at the minute.
I mean, I don't think he's the 7th best heavyweight in the world, but I don't think it really matters. I mean, all that matters really is what we're doing next, and that is rematching Daniel Dubois or waiting and seeing what happens on December 21st. And if it's up to AJ right now, he's rematching Daniel Dubois because that's all he wants to do. But obviously, as a team, we'll all talk, look at the opportunities and make the right decision.
If Usyk was to beat Fury in a rematch and that fight was to be made, who starts favourite?
Which fight?
AJ Fury.
Oh, if Fury lost?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like coming off the Wilding and the Ngannou wins, AJ starts to creep as a favourite and then he gets beat and then it's like, but what happens in the fight with Usyk? Does he get stopped? Listen, he might win. Anything can happen. Do you know, I was talking to someone the other day, the most amazing thing about the heavyweight division right now is that see all those guys in the top 10, maybe with the condition of Usyk, everyone can beat each other. You know what I'm saying? AJ can beat Dubois in a rematch. Bacoli could beat Fury. I don't know. Joseph Parker can beat Daniel Dubois. Ajit Kabayel can beat Usyk or Zhang, or I don't know, like it's so competitive in those big fights, and I think we're going to just keep seeing these brilliant heavyweight matchups.
Okay, I've got to ask you about your mate Simon Jordan. He replied to one of your tweets, and I quote, "If we are schooling, what are we majoring in? I'll help you. I'll teach you DJ sets, and you can teach me porkies and pig ignorance." Your reaction to that?
I probably am quite ignorant. I mean, I think that Simon's very good at what he does. Look, and he's on many levels, he's so much better than me. I think he's probably more intelligent than me. But when it comes to boxing, it's like the biggest grotesque mismatch. It's like a pound for pound great, as I said, fighting a Hungarian journeyman. Like, that is the difference in boxing knowledge and eloquency between me and Simon Jordan. So I can't lose in that respect. And I keep going on there, and every time I go on there, everyone's like quite worried and, oh, you're going up against Simon Jordan. He's up, like, he gets the better of everyone. And every time I go on there, it's like a terrible mismatch and it's half embarrassing for him. So I'm happy to go on again, but I was just quite passionate about, I didn't like what he said, but he's on Simon's on performance-based pay. Like, when you work in that job, if you drive numbers, your money goes up. And if you don't, your money goes down. So he has to create controversy. He has to create talking points. So I don't blame him, but I just didn't like the way that he put it. I thought it was very disrespectful. Because you have to understand, there's no rules in these events. Like, it's not like, this is a FIFA event or something like that. This is an event that was put on by His Excellency, by Seller, by Riyadh Season. If they want to invest all their time, invest their money and their efforts to deliver an historic night for British fight fans, not do it in Riyadh, bring it over to the UK. And if they're that proud that they want to play their own national anthem for 20 seconds, is it really a major deal? And I didn't like the way that it was put across. So I probably am a little bit ignorant.
What about the porkies element?
Because, he thinks, when we argue, if he doesn't agree with my points, he thinks I'm lying. It's like the whole thing about he's telling me what's in a contract, in my own contracts. He's got opinions, he's heard this. And the thing is with Simon, we know he's conflicted, but he just, he thinks that he's an expert when it comes to boxing. And you couldn't be more wrong. Do you know what I mean? But when you work in the sport 24/7 and you've been in every different situation contractually, morally, from a legacy point of view, in championships, versus a geezer who basically, I've never heard him talk about boxing up until like 2 or 3 years ago. He went to a couple of shows once, and now all of a sudden he's a boxing expert. But he's good at what he does, and I think he's good for boxing because he wants to wind people up, apart from people where he has a commercial affinity to, and he's trying to raise money for them. He don't question them, obviously, but you're not going to, are you? So I think he's good for boxing.
Would you say he's wound you up at any point?
No, not really. I mean, maybe when we were in the bits where it got a little bit heated were where we were in the studios, but it was in the breaks, and he was like, "You're a liar! You're a liar! I know you're lying." I was like, "No, what is wrong with you?" Like, he's so angry, Simon. Do you know what I mean? Like, although, do I bite sometimes? Maybe. Do you ever see me angry? Do you ever see me going red and like, and that's Simon. You know, you just see him. He's constantly, blood pressure must be through the roof because he's just so angry and miserable. So, you know, I just want to see him happy and smiling. You know, so
top 3 angriest people in boxing.
I mean, listen, he's me pal now, but Warren has the opportunity. You know, Warren does get angry. I mean, we saw it last week, and listen, he stands his ground. Simon Jordan, definitely. I mean, it's not even Simon can get angry, but he's just more miserable than angry. Angry. The one that's burning with anger so much, but fakes it with a smile, is Oscar. Like, you know,
that clip you done with Andrew last week was unbelievable.
People are stopping me in the street saying, "Do your Oscar clip, do your Oscar clip," and you know, I'm retired from the Oscar clip unless he goes at me again, and then we'll do our fuck you Fridays, and we'll give him a little slap on the bum, and you know.
So we haven't got a Wednesday version, no.
No, but it was just the whole one, you know. I pretend that I'm really happy, but I'm burning inside, you know. It's like.
Right, last one. Last week when I spoke to you, after everything happened with Eubank, we don't really want to talk about that because the whole apology statement's come out. You said that his team have been on the phone kind of begging for the Conor Benn fight. After October 12th, should Chris Eubank Jr. get past Sarah Meta, is that full focus for you? Conor Benn, Chris Eubank Jr.?
I think it's the biggest fight in British boxing outside of AJ Fury. So, of course, we want to make that fight. But we've got options. And we've got to choose, like with AJ, we've got to choose the next step wisely. You know, Eubank is a 160-pounder. You're moving up from 147, 2 divisions, but we're up for it. And it's a huge stadium fight. So watch this space.
Eddie Hearn, thank you very much. Cheers, mate.